Well, hello and welcome. My name is Sheila Wilson. I am a registered nurse. I'm president of Stop Healthcare Violence. We are a nonprofit group. I am also a host on Passionate World Talk Radio with Lillian Caldwell, CEO, and Jeannie White, station manager. My show is called Stop Healthcare Violence. We have a website and we are on Facebook, Stop Healthcare Violence and Heal the Healer. My guest today is Joanne. Joanne was assaulted. I interviewed her before, but today I would like to see how she is now doing after that assault. In today's world, I feel people think when a healthcare worker gets assaulted, it is part of the job. Just deal with it. I feel we should have a safe place to work in and not get assaulted. Our disclaimer is the views of the guest may not represent the views of the host or the station. Hello and welcome, Joanne. How are you?
Hi.
Thank you for coming on.
Hi, Sheila.
What's happening?
Oh, a lot. Much has happened. But,
yeah.
I don't know if you want me to start from what happened or you want to just ask me some questions that...
Well, I think, how long ago, Joanne, did you get assaulted?
1/14/15. January 4th, 2015.
Oh, that's 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And how are you doing?
Okay.
That sounds like a week okay. Can you let our guests know what happened to you? Would that be okay? Would you be able to say it?
Sure. I was working at County Hospital, and Quincy Hospital closed. The inpatient.
You don't need to mention the hospitals.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. And I was working in the emergency room, and it was a little crazy as usual. And it was a long wait, 5 hours or so for each person. And one woman, we were being very nice to her, but excuse me, she was angry about the wait, and she apparently had mental health issues. So receptionist kept saying, Joanne, can you help me with this girl because she's been waiting and she's out here angry. So I had tried.
Joanne?
That's when she started yelling and screaming and spinning around and taking her clothes. Yeah.
Can I interrupt for a minute? You faded out there. So you were saying it was busy. Can you repeat what you said?
Yes, it was extremely busy because of a closing of a local inpatient place. So she waited for a while. In her defense, she waited, and, it might have been 5 hours. So the receptionist kept asking me, could I bring her back as soon as the bed was available because she was angry in the waiting room. So I was very nice to this woman, and I communicated with her all the time about we're waiting for her room to be cleaned. And then since I couldn't find anyone to clean the room, I ended up cleaning the room thoroughly myself to bring her back. And as I was bringing her back, she spun around, threw me on the floor, and started saying she was having a panic attack and was taking her clothes off. I just remember a big black bra. And I think I was in shock because there were so many people. I thought I was screaming for help, but they said that they came because they heard the banging noises. And when they got to help, they said I looked like I was in shock. I wasn't talking, and I fell down on the floor again, or she either pushed me. But I just remember there were several staff members, probably at least 10, trying to get her down. And after a long time, she finally got down by one of the staff members. But after that, I was in pain, and I put ice everywhere, and I was trying as a good nurse to finish my documentation because you don't want to leave anything unturned. And
right.
Then that was it. I finished and best I could, and then I went home. And but ever since then, I've had some surgeries that wasn't really successful. So I need a total shoulder replacement. And I have my back bothers me. I had neck pain, but that improved with some injections and stuff. But there isn't a day. It goes by that I don't think about stuff like that. How unsafe.
Are you okay, Joanne? Joanne?
Single mom, so I work.
Joanne, I think we're going to have to stop.
Yep.
Let me shut this down. Hello and welcome. My name is Sheila Wilson. I am a registered nurse, and I'm also president of Stop Healthcare Violence. We are a nonprofit group. I am also a host on Passionate World Talk Radio with Lillian Caldwell, who is the CEO, and Jeannie White, who is the station manager. My show is called Stop Healthcare Violence. We have a website, and we are on Facebook, Stop Healthcare Violence and Heal the Healer. My guest today is Joanne. She was assaulted. I had interviewed her before, and today I would like to see how she is doing after the assault. In today's world, people feel when a healthcare worker gets assaulted, it is part of the job. Just deal with it. I feel we should have a safe place to work in and not get assaulted. Our disclaimer is that the views of the guest may not represent the views of the host or the station. Hello and welcome, Joanne. How are you? And thank you for coming on.
Hi, Sheila. I'm doing good, and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're quite welcome. You had quite an assault happen to you. And it was, 7 years ago?
Yep.
Yeah.
Long time.
And a long time ago. And do you have any residual from that assault?
Oh, yeah.
Can you share with the folks listening what's going on?
Sure. I still need more shoulder surgery. I need a replacement, but I have a few other health issues, like blood pressure and problems that I'm dealing with before. I do want to try to get that done before that wonderful surgeon retires. So but I know it's a long recovery period, about 1.5 years. And
yeah.
It's going to be a lot of work for me. And, I just feel as though as I get a little older, I'll heal slower, I'm sure. So I'll be trying to book that soon, I hope.
Did you, with the assault, what happened that you need surgery? Did she break it or?
I got thrown on the floor. The woman said she was having a panic attack and she was trying to remove her clothes, and I just remember a big black bra. So there's certain things that stick in my mind that, this isn't a normal person. But I was kind of in shock because I thought I was screaming for help, but my other friend, Cheryl, who's a nurse, said that they heard banging, and that's why they all came to help. And so basically I have neck pain, shoulder pain, because it's all connected. I have back pain, and pretty much that's it, but also just the financial change and how it changes your life. I went from working, 3 jobs to the equivalent of like 2 full-time jobs, 80 hours a week, to nothing. And so it definitely affects your life.
Certainly does.
Yeah. I mean,
now,
I'm blessed, so I'm thankful for what I do have. You know, I don't focus on the bad.
Right. That's the best thing. And I believe that you taught a lot of us. I did work with you, so
yeah.
And in trying to help each other, knowing that we all have our bad times, but it must have been very difficult because you were working a couple of jobs. You said 3 jobs, right? And then all of a sudden it stops. So
1 full-time and 2 part-time. Yeah.
So this person not only took away basically your lifestyle, they took away your financial status.
Yes.
And so, what type of surgery are you supposed to have?
I'm going to need a total shoulder because they did try to attempt to get rid of the MyTech anchors, because I had a previous injury many years ago. So what she did was injured an injury that I had. My shoulder was paralyzed many years ago from a ski accident, and it was 3.5 years I had axillary nerve paralysis. So it was in a sling anyway. It wasn't any good, but then it came back. I believe that's the answer to prayer. And
right.
I did good for many, many years. I was fine until that day when I was assaulted.
That's awful. That is awful.
Yeah.
So were you out on workman's comp? Were you able to get that, or did you get any help?
No, let me tell you, this is funny because I've learned to only sign just your license, because I signed some paper. I had workers' comp for a short while, and then they shut it off. And so it wasn't good. I had no money coming in, and I was living off my savings. But after the year point, and they approved the surgeries, they didn't hold the job, so I had to spend all kinds of money on COBRA insurance. It was, I want to say, at least $800 a month that locked me into the plan of the demon that I was waiting for that got, so it wasn't a good scene. You don't have choice. I don't know. If it's not related to the work, I wasn't on workers' comp long anyway. They wanted to settle out probably because I was at the top pay, because I believe so. I don't know. I've heard of other people being on workers' comp for years on end, but I was not on it long. Yeah.
Well, so how did you end up? You lost all your savings then.
I lost all my what?
Savings. All your money.
Oh, yeah. All savings went, absolutely. And then I settled out, but it was less than a year's salary from one job, let alone the 3 actually. So it did affect my life, but I'm very good with money, but nobody can be that good with money that you could get kicked out of, what was it, how many years before I was supposed to retire. So I was about 59, and then 60, 61, 62. So really, I think my age would have been 65, which I'm not that yet. But it knocked me into retirement, and totally, I was a planner, and I planned for my retirement, but it just got eaten up a little bit earlier than it should have been. Because I had all those years.
Did you get any help from the administration or the staff?
Nothing. The staff, yes. Staff was wonderful. They donated some time. But for the most part, the union and the hospital, it's an embarrassment to say that they were not there for me. And, you think you'd be protected going to work, especially the same job you'd been at for 25 years. It just doesn't always work out that way.
It certainly doesn't, and it's kind of crummy when that works like that. And so, is your arm paralyzed now, or are you able to move it?
No, I'm just in pain all the time. The cold weather actually bothers me. If I was able to just jump on a plane and go to Florida, I'd probably feel a little better, but it's always there. And until I have the total shoulder, I'm going to always have it. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Do you have you ever talked to a therapist about the assault?
Oh, every month. Every month, yes. I was going more frequently, but every month I do, yes. And that helps put me into perspective, things into perspective, and how it changed.
Would you recommend that to people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't even imagine not.
It's that was a frightening thing to just get assaulted like that. And you're saying that she had, like, she's telling you she's having a panic attack, but she's pushing you. Is that correct?
Yep. And so she pushed me on the floor, and then when I got up, she did it again. And she just kept swearing, saying she had to get her effing kids from school. She had to pick them up. And I thought, oh, so she's a mother?
Yeah, things like that happen to people, and we don't understand. Was security around?
Yeah, they couldn't get her down either. Security ended up coming. Everybody was there. Everybody, nurses, doctors, medical assistants, just the administrator of the emergency room. I know I won't mention names, but he was the one that really got her down. And then I don't know what they did with her afterwards, because I was just concentrating on trying to get my work done, because you never want to leave work unattended from your notations, and you can't abandon your patients unless you're dead.
Right. That gives you an excuse.
Yeah, you have to, especially with the way they were always on the nurses to make sure you get your documentation done with your vital signs in there every so many minutes for your patients that are on drips and different things. I want to say she was probably going to be my 6th or 7th, and I don't want to swear to it, but it was so busy in the ER. It always was though. Anyway, really, did you hear the Q word? Or actually experience it?
Yeah, that's it is tough working in the ER. I know. I worked with you.
Yeah, you did.
And
yes, you did.
And it's you try to keep your head above water, and you have so many patients, and you're making sure that the ones that are going to the ICU that you keep checking, because you never know. And it's when you get assaulted, that takes so much out of you, and people don't. I don't think people understand when you don't come from a home that you get slapped, punched, yelled at, kicked, spit at. What happens to you? Now, it's been 7 years for you. You go to the therapist, which is really helpful, but do you think you have PTSD? Do you open a door and?
Oh yeah, no, I do have it.
You do, and so are you treated for it, or is there any treatment for that?
I was on medicine for quite a few years, but then I started getting some funky mouth movements, so knowing that I didn't want any side effects from these heavy-duty meds, and I came off it within the last 2 months. I weaned off for a month, and who knows? That's why I still encourage people to once a month at least have some sort of maintenance therapy, or, the meds helped all these years. But like I say, I don't want any side effects. Plus, I have other health issues from now. My blood pressure's high, and been high though, for quite a while now. But
do you think that was a cause from the assault?
No, because I had problems with blood pressure before that. I think maybe stressful jobs, maybe.
But maybe. I mean, it was a stressful job.
Yeah. And you know how we hold things in, nurses, and it's better to get it out, whether you go to the gym and exercise or whether you do something. You have to take care of yourself, but nurses sometimes are one of the last because they care for other people, that they don't really take care of themselves as much as they should. But I'm trying.
That's awesome. We have a page. It's called Heal the Healer, and it started after the pandemic, and it started before the pandemic, and it's like I have found out that we don't take care of ourselves. We're always the last. We did a Stop Healthcare Violence Stop Healthcare Violence worked with Holly Brown, that does Feeling Fit and Fab, that gives massages and facials to people with cancer. And she did a program with us out in, I think it was Whitman. And we had nurses from one of the hospitals come, and it was all free. You could give a donation. The only thing we should have done was taken pictures of them when they came and when they left, because the difference in having a facial or a massage was absolutely outstanding. They'd come in, and they look like normal people, normal nurses, and they were tired looking, so forth and so on. And when they left, Joanne, they were laughing, they were smiling, and you could tell even their eyes were brighter. And if you don't take care of yourself, how can you take care of your patients? And that's kind of a tough move.
Yeah,
and so
true.
But you were working 2 jobs, 2.5 jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
So when did you ever get your self-care in there?
Probably just when I was home, not able to do anything after surgery. You know what I mean? I never really. Yeah. I know my friend Cheryl and I say we want to go to the gym or something, or to the Y, but it just doesn't happen. Of course, then with the weather and craziness, you're afraid to go out in the winter. You could get in a car accident with all this snow.
Right. It's not easy. Well, Joanne, do you want to say anything else about your incident?
I just want to say, if people, it happens to them, hopefully not. I mean, you would always pray before you go into work that you're safe. I would say that they need to work with organizations like yourself so that we can get it past that it's not okay. It's not part of a nurse's job to get beat up. It's just not, or assaulted. It's not.
No, and I don't know when it all got started. I'm sure Florence Nightingale didn't. You think she got assaulted? I mean, she was working like all of these. I mean, I don't remember reading anything about that, but it's when was being assaulted accepted? Why was it okay to assault a nurse?
Never should have happened.
No, it shouldn't have had. But do you have any solutions as to what we can do?
I just think lobby together and just keep trying so that it's totally not accepted at all. And that maybe the minute that ever happens, because I don't remember the police being involved. They might have been, but I was so concentrating on my pain. I had ice everywhere, and then I did my notes, and so I don't even know whatever happened after that. You know what I mean? I don't know if police were involved in my case or probably not. And I know that I remember it was snowy and you couldn't get out, and I probably should have gone and filed a report myself, because I realized later on down the road that, you know, the hospitals don't protect you, which they should. It's a business. You are working for them. You are doing a service and getting paid for it. So, I mean, when did it become not an employee's responsibility if somebody got violently hurt, you know, at their job?
Right.
Even I blame them too. I blame both.
You what?
I blame the unions as well.
Oh, I see. Yep.
It's like, how did that ever happen? How did I get kicked off like the workers' comp? Well, I do realize that I signed something. So, I'll revert back to don't sign anything besides your license. If you get hurt at work, you have to contact an attorney right away to help you. Because when you've worked all your whole life and you never had anything, I mean, things happened all along, but not so severely. I mean, I had been assaulted several times over the years, and it seems like nothing would get done, so you'd keep doing your job. As an IV nurse, people hit you and stuff.
Right. That's so accepted.
Yeah.
You know, the making out of reports doesn't happen, and when you're an IV nurse and you're running around from one floor to another and you get a hit in the head and you go, oh, yeah, I remember, I got to make out this report 10 patients later, because you're running the floors, you forget.
Yeah.
And so it never gets done.
And this one is getting a blood transfusion. So you're one IV nurse in a whole building. I mean, so you're running and running and running. You know, so you don't get a chance.
You got that right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off?
I'd like to thank you, Sheila, for all the hard work you do in this busy day and age that you trying to help all the nurses and healthcare workers. We appreciate that. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Joanne, because it's people like you that will come on and tell the truth and say, you know, I was hurt. I haven't been able to work. Haven't worked for now, 7 years?
Yeah.
Because somebody had maybe an anxiety attack, panic attack, and hurt you. Mm-hmm. And she knocked out the hardware that was in your shoulder to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still waiting for surgery. Well, I applaud you, Joanne, and thank you so much for telling your story. And so I'll say thank you for all that are listening, and I will sign off. And once again, thank you to Lillian Caldwell and Jeannie White. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.